Captain Zixara had seen many species across the galaxy in his 40-cycle career as a mercenary, but nothing had prepared him for the human sitting calmly in the diplomatic lounge of Station Kepler 7. She appeared deceptively fragile pale. Skin, auburn hair tied in a simple knot, wearing what the humans called a cardigan over practical clothing. Most unsettling of all, she held a delicate porcelain cup filled with some dark liquid, steam rising from its surface. "Ambassador Sarah." "Chun," his lieutenant whispered, mandibles clicking nervously. "From the Deathworld Terra." Zixara's four eyes narrowed. Deathworlders were legendary throughout the galaxy, beings who evolved on planets so hostile that merely surviving childhood required reflexes and strength that bordered on the supernatural. Terra was classified as a Class 12 Deathworld, with gravity nearly twice galactic standard, atmospheric composition that would kill most species within minutes, and predators that hunted in coordinated packs. Yet this human sat serenely, occasionally lifting the cup to her lips with movements so fluid they seemed choreographed. "Remember," Zixara addressed his 11-member assault team through their neural links, "the target is the tearing trade. Agreements in her datapad. No killing unless absolutely necessary. Deathworlders are valuable alive." The mercenaries moved with practiced precision, emerging from concealment with weapons drawn. Plasma rifles, neural disruptors, and molecular blade launchers, enough firepower to level a small building. They surrounded the human in a perfect tactical formation, escape routes blocked, crossfire angles calculated. Sarah Chun looked up from her tea, blinking once with what appeared to be mild curiosity rather than terror. "Gentlemen," she said, in perfectly accented galactic standard, her voice carrying the same calm tone one might use to comment on the weather. "How may I help you?" Zixara stepped forward, keeping his rifle trained on her center mass. "Ambassador Chun, you will surrender your diplomatic datapad and submit to detention. Resist, and..." He never finished the sentence. Sarah took a slow, deliberate sip of her tea, her movements so precise that not a single drop disturbed the liquid surface. Then, in a motion that defied the laws of physics as understood by most galactic species, she moved. The mercenary to her left, a 7-foot Corithian with reflexes, enhanced by military-grade implants, found his plasma, rifle sailing through the air before his neural pathways could register the human had moved. Sarah's left hand had somehow displaced his weapon while her right maintained perfect control of the teacup, the liquid within remaining absolutely still. The Voxery twins flanking the entrance attempted to compensate, their molecular launchers swiveling toward the threat. Sarah flowed between their targeting vectors like water, her free hand striking pressure, points that no non-Terran anatomist had ever identified. Both aliens crumpled, their weapons clattering to the deck. Zixara fired his neural disruptor, the blue energy bolt crackling through the space where the human had been a microsecond earlier. Sarah had pivoted on one foot, her body rotating with impossible grace while the teacup remained level, the surface of her beverage undisturbed by even the slightest ripple. The remaining 8 mercenaries opened fire simultaneously, filling the air with deadly energy. Sarah moved like a ghost through their crossfire, her form blurring between firing solutions. Her left hand struck out in precise economic movements, a tap to disable a power cell here, a redirected barrel there, a pressure point that sent weapons tumbling from suddenly nerveless grips. Within 17 seconds, 12 of the galaxies. Most feared mercenaries lay groaning on the deck, their weapons scattered and useless. Sarah Chun stood in the center of the carnage, not a hair out of place, her breathing completely steady. The teacup in her right hand showed no evidence of disturbance, the surface of her tea maintaining perfect stillness. She took another sip, her expression thoughtful. "Earl Grey," she said conversationally to Zixara, who was staring at her from where he collapsed against a bulkhead, his weapon bent into an artistic pretzel. "It's a earth blend. Bergamot oil gives it that distinctive flavor. Would you like to try some?" The captain's translator struggled with several concepts Bergamot didn't exist in galactic databases, and his species lacked the biological framework to process most Deathworld toxins that humans casually consumed. "How?" he whispered, all four eyes wide with shock. "The probability calculations alone." Sarah settled back into her chair, smoothing her cardigan with her free hand. "Oh, that's just basic situational awareness. On Earth, we call it having tea during a spot of trouble. Nothing particularly special." She gestured to his scattered, groaning team with the hand not holding her cup. "Your friends will be fine. I was careful not to cause permanent damage. Though I'd recommend investing in better tactical software. Your formation had at least 6 critical vulnerabilities." Zixara's mandibles clicked in what his species considered stunned silence. His team had trained for cycles, using military-grade enhancement and weapons that could crack starship hulls. This human had dismantled them while maintaining perfect tea etiquette. "The trade agreements," he managed weakly, "are confidential." Sarah replied pleasantly, taking another sip. "But I'm happy to discuss general Earth galactic commerce opportunities once your friends wake up. We're always interested in expanding peaceful trade relationships." She glanced at a chronometer on her wrist. "Security should arrive in about 3 minutes. I activated the silent alarm when you gentlemen first appeared. Seemed like the polite thing to do." More tea? As Station Kepler 7 security forces surrounded the scene, they found 12 unconscious mercenaries, their weapons artfully arranged in a neat pile, and one human ambassador calmly finishing her afternoon beverage. The incident report would become required reading at 3 different military academies, though most species remained convinced it had to be exaggerated. After all, no being could possibly be that dangerous while maintaining proper tea service. Sarah Chun simply smiled and scheduled her next diplomatic meeting, making a mental note to requisition the proper tea service from Earth. The replicated variety, while adequate, lacked the subtle complexity that made these little interruptions truly civilized affairs. In the end, the galaxy learned an important lesson. Never underestimate a Deathworlder at tea time.